Are you seeking a better way to accelerate your sales, to scale your business, to live a life with no limits? Accelerate Sales Podcast features global experts who have cracked the code to recurring revenues with proven sales systems and get you on the fast track to scaling. Now let's accelerate your sales with today's episode.
Hi, I'm Paul Higgins, and hello to the Accelerate Sales Solo Podcast, episode number 418. Today's topic is scaling blueprint for ambitious cloud consultants. I'm so excited to bring this to you today. You will learn three key things. One is, what are the three stages to this blueprint? The second is, what are the three elements under each of the stages? And also where you can get the ebook and see how you're progressing against this blueprint. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. Always appreciate those reviews. It means so much to me. Please check out past shows on your favorite platform or search Accelerate Sales. And don't forget those wonderful interview shows as well. And before we start, I'd like to talk about our free community on Slack called the Cloud Consultants Collective. It's a safe place where peers help each other by answering their questions. And there's a great one today where someone wanted to know some Google Workspace partners in the US, they're in Australia, and, they got together. So, there's just so much collaboration happening in this global group. So if you want to find out more yourself, just go to cloudconsultantscollective.com to join for free. So from 2013, early 2013 to 2019, my business partner and I scaled two cloud consulting businesses. The first was a partner of a platform called Podio. And for those that haven't heard of Podio, think sort of Basecamp and Airtable if they had a love child, or sort of a database relationship platform, but you could really build anything in it. But it wasn't as sophisticated as maybe, say, a Zoho. And, everything was going pretty well. We'd set up a big team in the Philippines that supported about 30 people, and it was going great. And then the business was purchased by a tech behemoth, and unfortunately it lost its way. And having been in Coca-Cola and seen us turn small companies into smaller companies, I could sort of see that it was going to happen, and unfortunately it played out. So then we went completely agnostic. We thought, okay, what we'll do is pick a vertical, which is agencies, where we had gone really well with Podio. And then we thought, well, why don't we try to do, any platform? So, let's go agnostic. Whatever the need is, we'll then go and get the platforms. And it sounds great in theory, but to be honest, it was very hard to learn and train and have the systems, and we're constantly changing things. And just the margin, it was just diluting the margin due to labor. So we then pivoted again and doubled down on three key platform partners. And then we had a very successful exit in 2019. It worked really well. And why am I telling you all of this, right? It's not to talk about my situation, but it's just to say that I've walked in your shoes, right? So you listening today, wherever you are in scaling your journey, I've walked in your shoes from starting it from scratch to building a large team to having a successful exit. And, I've also been fortunate that since I sold the business, I've mentored many others that you've heard on other podcasts if you've been listening to this for a while. But what I want to share with you is my experience from both of these, right, on how to scale a consulting business. Because let's face it, not the easiest businesses in the world to run. There is quite a bit of service to it, which has always got some risk. But what I've pulled together is a blueprint where I share my IP of how I've done it and how I've learned from others. And what I want you to do is take it in context, right? So make sure you support, consult or work with your support base to see if the circumstances apply to you, because, this is just a guide. It's a blueprint. It's not something that you should just take off the shelf and implement straight away without some guidance. But before I continue with the scaling blueprint, I'd like to talk to you about SendSpark. SendSpark allows you to send personalized videos at scale. They've got a great animated GIF at the front. They've got good analytics, but what I love now is you can do a little introduction with it and have a standard video. So when I onboard people into the Cloud Consultants Collective, I can say, hi, Phil, hi, Mary, great to see you, blah, 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 and then just cut in a video which I send every time, so I'm not reinventing the world. It's more consistent. But why don't you check it out for yourself? It's a wonderful platform. Just go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/SendSpark. The link will be in the notes, and you get 6 months free with that link. Okay, so let's go to the blueprint. There's 3 stages. 1 is optimized business model, stage 1. 2 is sales and marketing engine. And 3 is high-performing teams. I'll just read that once more. Optimize business model, sales marketing engine, a high-performing team. And in theory, they should be logically sequenced, right? It should be linear. But real life, it doesn't happen that way. And you'll have some of the elements and not all. Think of it as more of a jigsaw puzzle. You are solving... you're looking to scale and you're looking to solve it, but it's going to be very different given your circumstances and your strengths and what you've done before. But what I highly recommend is that, what I want you to do is download the book. So you can go to the ebook. It's beautifully presented. Thanks, Bob, who's helped me put it together. You can go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. It's all one word, blueprint. We'll have that in the show notes as well. And just read it, right? So read it first. And then what I want you to do is come back and listen and take notes on this podcast, right? So take additional notes on the points I'm going to make. And the other thing is that I think you should take it, and once you've done that, take it to your mentor, to your coach, to get some advice on what he or she sees in you. Okay, so stage 1, as I said, is optimized business model. And there's sort of like 3 key components. So I'll go through these fairly quickly because you've got more detail in the ebook, and ultimately that's what I want you to download. But the first is under specialized niche is, just do your research, right? Because so often people come to me and say, this is what the client needs, or this is what it is. And often they're actually so caught up in their own solution, they can't break through that. So go and talk to people, then mine the data to see if the opportunity that you want to go after in that niche is large enough. And then go and see your partner, so whether it's Salesforce, Microsoft, Zoho, HubSpot, whatever, is aligned to that, right? So I'll take you a quick example back with Podio when we went into agencies. We looked, worked out how many there were, what types we wanted. Did we want, full digital agencies? Did we want more service-based? So it sort of worked that out. And then we went and validated the information with Podio to say, yes, that is the right niche to do it. And I know that, there's always 2 sides to the coin. There's one that, be all things to all people, another niche. Whenever I've worked with a client, I'm working one at the moment, and we've super niched or niched, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely got the result. So that's the first, right? Then the second is you want to optimize the offer to those people, right? So it's called offer optimization. And, once again, I see a lot of people happy to get new clients in, build revenue, but often their profitability isn't right. Right. So what we want you to do is first look at your service profitability. So what is it actually costing you per project at the moment? And unfortunately, sometimes that's a bit of an eye-opener for people. Then we want a recurring revenue, and how often have you said, project work's great, but I want consistent recurring revenue. So I think that's the next thing in the business model. And the third is around your pricing and optimize your pricing, right? So you want to pick actually who you're going to niche down or niche down to. Then you're going to make sure that you've doing a business model, or i.e. an offer that's going to suit them, but it's also going to maximize your profitability, right? And that profit first, I love that book from Michael Michalowicz, that principle. And then the third element of optimized business model is client satisfaction, right? Because you've all heard the analogy, it costs less to sell more to existing clients than to get a whole more new clients. And something that, we did a lot at Coca-Cola, but I haven't seen a lot of smaller businesses do it, is come up with a customer charter, right? What does success look like to your customers? The second is, mapping their journey, right? Right from sales through to onboarding, and in effect also when they leave you, right? There's so many steps there. And the last one is service delivery. So how can you optimize actually delivering this? And guess what? Yes, you are normally stuck in delivery too much. We want to get you out of that. So that's one of the key things. So I'll just summarize the optimized business model again. So it's specialized niche, offer optimization, and client satisfaction. Because basically you can run very fast in a business, but if the business, i.e. the ladder, is against the wrong wall, all you're doing is working very hard, not working smart, and not making good profitability. So isn't it better to sort of optimize your business model first before you then go out and sell it? So that's why we've got them in that sequence. The next is sales and marketing engine. So this is number 2, and there's 3 key components. There's reaching out, be sought after, and leveraging partners. So once again, I'll just briefly go through these. If you've got that ebook there, please go and do it. And if you haven't, just go to, once again, paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint, or one word, blueprint, and get it, or download it at another time and come back to this podcast, because I think it really helps for you to have that ebook in front of you. So reaching out, there's 3 key components here that I sort of look at. One is networking referrals, right? We all say that we get referrals, but do we actually dive into our network well enough? And I'm amazed when I go through someone's CRM or their LinkedIn, I just find so much gold there that they haven't really leveraged. So that's the first one. And the other one is around cold outreach. We still think that it's a combination of email and LinkedIn, but you're leveraging people off LinkedIn, right? And we've got some wonderful ways to do that. And then the third is around your sales system. And, I know a little bit about sales systems. Spent 18 years at Coca-Cola where we really developed them well. But through my, now 11 years of running my own businesses, we've got those right. But I'm just amazed. Even some of you that sell sales CRMs aren't even optimizing that, right? So the old plumber with a leaky tap. So that's the first one, reaching out. The second is be sought after, right? And you need a killer marketing asset. So what's mine? You're listening to it, right? It's the podcast is my killer marketing asset. But what's your version? It might be YouTube. It might be an ebook like I've just spoken about. It's something, right, to go over and above to draw people to you. You've got to have your website optimized, and I think you know what that is. And most of you would, you're probably looking there at your website saying it's not great, and guess what? Mine's not. And in a month's time, it's going to look very much different to what it does today. And also the traffic, like how much traffic actually hits your website, right? I get lots of visits through my old website, but it wasn't converting at all. So that's why I'm upgrading it. And then the third one is social media content, which once again, LinkedIn is predominant, but there's Twitter and other platforms. So we had reaching out, we had be sought after, and then the third and last one in this section, which is sales and marketing engine, is leveraging partners. And I'll keep it pretty brief, but your SaaS partner, how do we maximize that? So once again, I've been mentoring someone recently that, had sort of had casual relationships with their partner, but now they've gone, and it's fortuitous, they've reorganized as well. And all of a sudden they're getting fantastic leads. Now, I'm never saying you should be dependent upon that partner, but I always do think there's low-hanging fruit. And the other one is other strategic partners. So for example, private equity, right? Private equity might have all of your clients, and then you can pitch to them once and they can help you sell one to many. All right. And there's lots of other examples of that. And I've got some great examples in that ebook at paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. So sales and marketing engine was reach out, be sought after, leveraging partners. So you know that you can't do this all by yourself, right? So the last one is high performing team. That's number 3. And once again, there's 3 high level elements. There's letting go. That's right, you letting go. The second is system optimization, and then united culture. So under letting go, I really think it's important that you have clear roles and responsibilities. Everyone wants to be successful, right? But often it's not clear. And I love the above the line, below the line. Above the line is what the individual is accountable for. Below the line is what you're accountable for, right? And sometimes when people aren't clear, they won't perform their best. So that's one. And also then that gives you the ability also to feel more comfortable. The second is recruitment, right? And I know that's a key bugbear for most of you at the moment out there, and you're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, I'd just love a COO, I'd love this role or whatever. But my key thing on recruiting is you should always be recruiting. We've got some really cool strategies in the way to do that. And finally, training, right? If I think how much training I had at Coca-Cola, and I was just saying to my team the other day, I help a little, but I don't actually give you enough specific training. And we had the old rough rule of thumb, which is 70-30-20, 70 in the business, 20 where you basically work with someone within the business, like a buddy. And then the third one is getting external resources, which is 10%. Okay, so under high-performing team, we just discussed letting go, and you should be able to follow this in the ebook. The next one is system optimization, and I'll go through this quickly, but there's sort of three key things, and a lot of you do this for other people, right? So you should get it. But standard operating procedures, I think that's, so critical, especially, if a key employee leaves, you don't want that an awkward feeling of, if only we had documented everything first. But it also helps teams be successful because you're making it easy for them. The next is automation, and there's so many great ways to automate. And, if you're in the business at the moment where you throw a bit more labor at it, especially like for me, I've got teams around the world. I think, labor's not that expensive, but once again, it opens up to errors. Right? Humans are humans. So how can you automate? And then your tech stack. So most of you got brilliant tech stacks. That's what you do for a living. But it's amazing the little ones that I often show people that they hadn't heard of, especially around a lot of the sales activities. And the last one is united culture. And what we want is some stories and legends, because as this business gets bigger than you, right, people are going to be talking on your behalf. So what are they? What routines and rituals do you want as a team? Especially in an environment where most of you are working remote, you still want some great rituals to bring and keep that team culture going. And last one is cultural map. So, for example, like what's a chart of authority like? This particular role, what can it spend up to, I should say. There's a whole lot of cultural maps. So this is all in this wonderful ebook at paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. And I'll just quickly high level, right? So first you want to optimize your business model because you want to work smarter, not harder. Then you want to create a sales and marketing engine, right? And you want it to be not dependent on your SaaS partner. You want to maximize that, but you want your own consistent leads. And then finally, you want the team to keep up with the demand, right? And also that team's going to allow you to do more of the strategy and also more of the sales, which it becomes a nice evolution. And under that, there's the fact that you want to be able to let go, but you've got to build the infrastructure for that. You've got to build the systems for that, and you've got to build the culture so it sticks. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, I think number one, you've heard it a few times, right? Yes, I know. Go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. Run your self-analysis, right? What you've looked at. Run it past a coach or mentor, someone that you're working with at the moment. And if you've got any specific questions, just send them to me at paul@paulhigginsmentoring.com. I always get back to every email that I receive. You can get all the show notes at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast. So there's a few links that I spoke about today. It's episode number 418, or in the app you're listening to now. I recommend the Pocket Cast app. It's a great app, just personal on my iPhone. Follow me on LinkedIn as I put some great content out. If you know someone interested in scaling, right, and this would be a great little diagnostic for them, please share it with them. They'll think you're a rock star. If you're a cloud consultant or know one and you want to be in a peer group, right, where we really support you, go to cloudconsultantscollective.com. And the last thing, as always, please take action to accelerate your sales.
I'm fired up after today's episode. What about you? But hey, before you go, learning is just one piece of the puzzle. Now it's time to put today's strategy into action. Head over now to today's show page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast. and share how you'll put it into action. Be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't wait 1 minute more to gain access to your pulse check at paulhigginsmentoring.com. This could be the difference between struggling to get more leads and making this next quarter your best one yet.